Hi everyone, I'm Arjun Singh, the CEO and co-founder of Gradescope. We use AI to help instructors grade their students' work. I was a teaching assistant at UC Berkeley's Artificial Intelligence course when we started working on this. And I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit about how grading works in college. Maybe. There we go. So on the left, there's a picture of a grading party from Harvard's CS50 course. If you're not familiar with a grading party, it usually involves a bunch of graders sitting around a table for anywhere from 5 to 15 hours. There's usually some pizza involved, and they've got their red pen in hand, and they're grading in huge pain. And it might be surprising to hear that this is actually how things are still done at most institutions around the country and even around the world. We had this pain most acutely in computer science. Computer science enrollments have been exploding over the past few years. There's a chart that kind of shows how it's been at a few institutions. At Berkeley, the Computer Science course has grown from 350 students to 1,650 students over the past 6 years. That's not to say this is a computer science problem specifically. It's actually more that computer science is catching up to the other fields. Chemistry, math, econ, bio, psychology, all those courses have these giant, all those fields have these giant courses from 100 to 2,000 students. And so giving high quality and fast feedback on these open-ended responses is a big bottleneck in the educational system. So the idea we had was, instead of grading with a red pen on paper, we're going to collect the work, scan it in, upload it, and use software to help us grade it. The system we built ends up making grading a lot faster, cuts it about in half, makes it fairer and more flexible. Let me show you how this works. So this is what Gradescope looks like. I'm going to show you an example for a simple calculus question. It's, what is the integral of x? On the left, there's a single student's answer to this question. This is a scanned-in piece of paper. They answered 1/2 x squared plus c, which happens to be the correct answer. On the right, there's a rubric. The rubric is a list of mistakes that you might take points off for, or a list of criteria that you might want to award points for. So for this student, we're going to mark this answer correct and give them full credit. Then we're going to go to the next answer to the same question. This student made a mistake. They forgot the constant, the plus c. So we're going to go to the rubric and add an item that says forgot constant. We'll say that's going to be worth 2 points off. We'll click on it, and now they have a 1 out of 3. Then we'll hit next. The student made that same mistake, but they've also made a new mistake. They forgot the 1/2. So we're going to add another entry to the rubric that says forgot 1/2. We'll take a point off for that, and we'll apply both of these rubric items. So the rubric is evolving over time. And now they have a 0. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, man, that was kind of harsh. I want to give them partial credit. What I can do is go back and edit the point values for anything on the rubric at any point, and I'll retroactively update for everybody on the test. So it's really easy for me to be fair, everybody's graded consistently, while being flexible, and I can react to what I'm actually seeing from my students. One of the worst experiences you can have as a TA is when your professor comes over and kind of says, hey, we should change how we're grading that, and you're halfway through, and you've got to go back and regrade absolutely everything. That's a nightmare. When we're done grading, we can return the work to the students electronically. So not only is grading time cut in half, you no longer have to wait until the next class period to give the work back to the students. So many of our instructors are actually able to return their work to the students the same day that they took the exam or the homework assignment. And the students will see a screen that looks like this. They'll see their exam on the left. They'll see any annotations that the instructor might have made. They'll see the rubric on the right. They'll understand how the rubric was applied to them. So they'll actually get a real sense of why they earned points, why they lost points. And the students have had very positive feedback about this. In all of my time as a TA, this was the single most positive thing I ever heard from the students is I get to actually understand why I was graded the way I was. So it's very transparent to them. When the instructors are done, they get statistics about how students did on the assessments. And the statistics they get are essentially impossible to collect for grading on paper. You understand how common each mistake that the students made were. You can actually really understand the reason behind every point earned by every student on every question throughout your course. And if you think about it, it's a little bit crazy that this hasn't been happening in the past, because you have subject matter experts spending hours and hours of time poring over student work, understanding where the student went right, where they went wrong, writing on the feedback on the paper. And then in the grade book, they put down a single number, an 82 or an 84. They give the work back to the student, and all of the data is lost. So here it's kind of captured electronically as just a byproduct of grading, essentially for free. And it's immediately given to the instructors. They can understand what their students are doing and act on it, either in the next lecture session, reviewing what the most common mistakes were, or the next time they teach, improving the lessons that kind of led to the misconceptions that they saw. So this has been used to grade over 20 million pages of work, around 200,000 students, 250 institutions. This is a sampling of some of our biggest users, including our first few university-wide multi-year licenses. And you might be wondering where the AI comes in. I haven't mentioned AI at all so far. So the AI is something we've been working on recently, and we have now deployed in beta at about 300 courses earlier this spring. And I'm going to give you a preview of that. So for the same question that we were looking at before, that calculus question, we've got a scattering of answers here. And what we do is we pass these answers through our computer vision system, and it'll spit out a list of groups of similar answers. If there's any mistakes, you can easily fix them. And now when you're grading, you grade groups of answers instead of individual answers. So in most courses, this significantly reduces the time grading even further past that 50% because there's only a kind of a small number of answers that students usually give. And this currently works on multiple choice, short answer text, and short answer math questions, and we're working on expanding the scope of what types of questions this actually works on over time. So there's plenty more about Gradescope that I didn't get to talk about today, and I'm happy to talk about it offline, or if you want to chat, feel free to email me, arjun@gradescope.com. Website's obviously gradescope.com. Thank you all.